shows out there.
So you're saying you want Sabotage to go back to California?
Yes,
What if you just covered shows that are in California?
that worked too.
That could work. But yeah, we'll talk about the Sabotage show, the War of the Genders, first of its kind in the entire state of California, if I'm not mistaken, right, Brian? Or is that
Correct. I
Okay.
think the first time in the West Coast period.
first time in the West Coast period that it happened? We will talk about She's on It. A one match has been announced so far. Weird City Warfare at Something's Got to Give. The Twisted Sisters vacated the title, tag team titles. Could not fulfill their obligations to defend their titles, so they vacated them. And I did it again, Rudy. I said I was going to start the podcast out with this, and I didn't do it. But I want to give a huge shout out to Barbecue Revolution, sponsor of not only Heel Face Wrestling, but Sabotage Wrestling as well. You can find them in Austin, Texas at 2421 Weberville Road. Vegan barbecue, and I know that sounds like an oxymoron statement because you usually don't eat vegan barbecue, but we've had it several times, Rudy, and it's been great every time we've had it.
I need to go back to Austin to get some more.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to them. Follow them on their social media at BBQ Revolt on Twitter, Instagram. I think they even have a Facebook like page, so go give them a like there. And go get you some good food. They will also be at She's on It.
Tell them we sent you.
Yeah, tell them we sent. Oh, and also if you tell them we sent you, you get 10% off of your meal. Or if you show up in any kind of wrestling T-shirt, whether it's WWE, Lucha Underground, Independent, Sabotage, whatever.
Heel Face.
Heel Face. I mean, if you maybe will they give them 20% off if you say
know,
we
maybe.
sent them and then they're wearing a shirt?
Maybe.
I'll ask Blake and see what he says.
See what he says about that, because it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but yes, you can get a discount for your food. But going back, Thunder Roasted documentaries that you did, we'll talk about that a little bit, and some other shows that are coming up in the area. Heavy Metal, Inspire, ACW. Might even have a Street Side report from Rudy. I don't know if you're going to have one ready or if you already do have one ready. We'll see.
The nighttime.
The nighttime report? They're always, oh yeah, I guess they're during the day.
During the day, nighttime.
But yeah, so where have we been, Rudy? What's been going on since the last 3 weeks that we've done a podcast? We've been Sabotage. We've been working on some stuff we can't talk about, some stuff we can talk about. But yeah, mainly just busy doing. Rudy's been working on Something's Got to Give DVD, or I'm sorry, matches. I guess it's the same, right? DVD matches.
No, it's totally different.
The matches go on the DVD.
Yeah, but
That we don't
are we
sell.
selling a DVD?
No, we sell the
So
download.
Ergo.
You know what I was talking about. You know what I meant. But yeah, so you're working on Something's Got to Give. I guess we could. Did any one of the matches stand out more to you? Did you like any of them more than others?
Oh, did you like any of them at all?
No, more than any one more than others. Or,
Well, of course, Doom, Eli Everfly. That was just probably great. Might be match of the night.
match of the night.
Yeah, but it was just great because you know how we love Delilah here.
Yeah.
So
It's
then
no secret they were all doomies.
Yeah, and she's like totally took it to another level. So you'll see her go.
And I saw her give a lot of credit to Eli for bringing that out of her and getting her to that next level. And then he gave her praise afterwards. I don't know if you saw on his Twitter account. He was just saying, congrats to her, and they had a great match. And
Yeah.
fans were definitely, first of all, they showed out to the show, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And they packed the gym that we were in, or was that a gym? What was it?
It was a Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club. They packed that thing out. They were loud all night. Great fans. It was a great time from the beginning to the end. I don't know. I can't really pick one match because
It's hard.
I remember. I do want to talk about this on air. I remember at one point during the tag match, the Desiderata and Maserati versus Rocket Boy and Human Tornado. Brian and I were not. We're in the building, at the same building, but we weren't next to each other. So I just sent him a text and I was like, "Hey, man, this is."
He was working.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, this is a great story," and he's like, "Yeah, it's going pretty good." And I was like, I really enjoyed that match. I don't know if I enjoyed it more than all the others, but it just stood out to me because I remember it stood out to me enough to where I texted him and said, "Hey, the storytelling is good in this match."
Yeah, I remember thinking that during the Shotzi match that might be one where fans look at kind of go about with Shotzi.
Yeah,
Kind of see her, start liking her more.
yeah,
I think she isn't like now, but
yeah. Take her to the next level. Type
yeah.
stuff.
It's one of those matches where you see somebody and you're kind of like, okay, now she might, now they're getting in a little more, doing more.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I was thinking seeing that because the crowd got into it.
Yeah. Shout out to Shotzi. He will be at She's On It in Austin, Texas,
Yes.
October 13th. You can get your tickets now, sabotagetexas.com. And, of course, Weird City Warfare match we'll talk about here in a second. But, Brian, and I know this is an unfair question to ask you because being the co-owner of the promotion, but I'm going to ask you anyways. And you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but is there any match that stood out to you more or that you liked more than the others that from Something's Got to Give?
Well, I think all of the matches were really awesome from the beginning, from Ray Lynn to Peter Avalon. You know, they set the tone of the show, and then moving on to Sage and with her having a replacement, Jerry Gigolo. That was a really awesome match. And like you said, the tag team match was a bit of a surprise. It was much better than I even anticipated. It was very entertaining, got the crowd really going. There was a lot of backstory to that to really got the crowd involved.
Yeah, Tornado and Desi had some history going into that match.
Yeah, and then you had like B-Boy and Hudson Envy. You know, they were in that fourth spot right before intermission. They really left the crowd really wanting for more. And then the Shotzi and Stevie T, Steven Tresario match. I mean, that was really awesome. Their chemistry together was like really like flawless. You could tell they trained together, they worked together a lot of times, and they really put on a really good performance. I think it possibly could have been match of the night, but you know, when you had 3 more matches after that, it kind of like in that spot where like a lot of people might forget it, but it was actually a really, really good match.
Yeah, for sure.
And then, you know, the Holodead and Mariachi Loco match was hard hitting. Had
And
a lot of backstory to that also.
I thought they did a really good job of if a fan went to the show that day and didn't know that there was anything like any backstory to the Holodead and Mariachi Loco match, they did a really good job in the pre-show of giving the fans a reason to want to cheer for Holodead. If not that they weren't already, but I'm just saying like building the story. Because he lured her in the ring, and then they did the dance, and he's there doing his thing, and then all of a sudden, super kick out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was really awesome. And you know, like usually I don't have any say what goes on in the pre-show, so I'm glad that a lot of the pre-show tied into the actual show and helped tell a lot of the stories in case people don't follow on social media.
Yeah.
And then you had Ray Rosas and Thunder Rosa, which was a very hard hitting match. Very dirty match at times, but you know it really got the crowd going. Could have also been match of the night, and then finish it off with Eli and Doom. Them two just killed each other.
Yeah.
I mean, Doom was doing Delilah was doing stuff that I've never seen her do. I don't think she's ever done before. You know, she did a Canadian destroyer in there. She flying off the
top,
mat.
yeah.
Spanish
Doing pile
fly.
drivers on people.
Well, they wasted no time in getting that thing going because the bell rang, and then next thing you know, Eli's already on the top rope, or he's like going to the outside of the ring, jumping off, and I'm just like, okay, well they're going right at it. They're not gonna waste any time. They look like they wanted to beat each other up for weeks. Like when the bell rang, it was just like it's on, let's go. Like we're fighting, and you know I'm gonna hit you from the top rope. I'm gonna throw you out of the ring. I'm gonna throw you wherever I want to throw you. And one spot that stood out to me was when Doom did the power bomb off the top rope.
Yeah.
I think Eli was trying to do a Hurricane Rana, and she blocked it and ended up power bombing him. And I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that was a good move there.
but
Oh, no, I was gonna say, she had all the bruises and everything the next day at the airport.
Well, she had him that night.
Well, that night, but I mean, they were there still in the morning.
yeah, I think she had a bloody nose and
Yeah.
a bloody lip. But basically, when we signed that matchup, she didn't even know who Eli was. I showed her some video. I said, "Be prepared for the fight of your life."
I think a lot of people, because when you and Joey were talking to me way back, I think this was even before the May show.
Yeah,
We were talking about the October show. I'm sorry, the August show. And you were telling me about, you know, wait till you see Eli Everfly. And I was like, why? You're like, because he's like the same size as Delilah Doom, and this match is going to be good. Like, you were calling it in May,
yeah,
and then it happened. And then I think once people see this match next week, once it's out, they'll agree to, you know, that's a different side of Delilah Doom that we haven't seen. And we see Delilah Doom a lot.
Yeah.
So that was a
I think
different.
when she had the Thunder Rosa match at Inspire, brought it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And this just
Took it to the next.
took it to the next level.
yeah. I think she just wanted to prove to the audience. I mean, a lot of people book her as, you know, kind of like like a kind of like a sideshow kind of character.
Like,
You
almost
know?
a comedy, almost.
Yeah, comedy. She comes in there, does the little cute things, and then has 8 to 7 minute match, and she's out. But at Sabotage, we challenge her. We put her to the next level. Say, you know, you're the main event. You
Yeah.
got to bring it every single time, and she does.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, another match that, and I know you would agree because another match we watched some of them yesterday, Thunder Rosa versus Ray Rosas. That was another good match that happened there.
Oh yeah, like I said, I mean it was very hard hitting.
Yes.
They were pretty dirty with each other a lot of the times too. They weren't holding back. I think.
Didn't Thunder Rosa like give him a low blow almost immediately when the match started, right?
Yeah, she went to do a drop kick, you know, and she drop kicked him right in the
In the money spot.
the money spot, and so you know they weren't holding back on each other. When she first found out that Douglas James wasn't going to be her opponent, and we signed Ray Rosas to be her opponent, she knew she was in for a fight. You know, Ray Rosas is a SoCal vet. He's part of the leader of a group called Hate down there.
Yeah, I
So
saw
just
him wearing the shirt.
Just the name alone will tell you that you know you're in for a war. And
Yeah,
I
you
think
got a guy walking around in a shirt that says hate. So.
Yeah, and you know when you watch the tape, you'll see how it ends. But it was a very good battle too.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want what was it, Jerry Gigolo?
Yes.
He stood out to me as like,
Oh, he was really
yeah,
good.
like he
because-
like impressed me the most, but put like an impression on me the most.
Well, he was really cool even before the show started. Remember, he came over to us when we were setting up everything, and he was like, "Hey, my name is."
Oh yeah,
I don't want to say his real name, but my name is this, and he's just like, "Nice to meet you guys." And I think he said something. I don't remember if it was him or it might have been Eli, one of the two. But they're like, "Oh, I like what you guys do. It's really cool."
yeah.
And
So if you want us to put you over, just come up and say you like what we do. There you go.
but no, yeah, we're not. This is not why we're putting him over because he said that. Because that's just a plus. But
Yeah.
he came over and was just talking to us for a little bit, just about nothing really, just
Yeah,
kind of
just-
saying, "Hey, this is," introducing himself, and then just saying, you know,
Which is weird when wrestlers do that still to us.
why is that weird?
I don't know, because it's like, well, we're just here to record.
But why is it weird? What do you
It's
mean?
still kinda
It's
weird.
weird that they just like talk to us.
Yeah, well, like come up and introduce us, like because they're making the rounds to everybody, like the wrestling thing.
Well,
Yeah.
You're part of the team too.
Yeah,
So.
it just seems kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah, I guess so.
But
I mean,
still to
I
me
guess
it
I'm.
shows.
It was weird to me at one point too, but I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, it happens now, so it's
Yeah.
like part of going to the show.
But it still
But-
seems weird.
Yeah, I could see what you mean, but
yeah, he impressed me the
yes,
most.
and then when he came out,
his character's just awesome.
Yeah, his
Like,
character is. It was just like, they're like, oh, he's just such a pretty face.
Yeah, he plays a couple other characters. Kind of a backstory. Thunder Rosa actually started with him. She was actually one of his valet / managers for one of his characters, and you know, so they have a good history with each other. And when we found out we needed to replace Joe Hyken, which you know is a shame that we didn't get to see him on there. He plays a
was he still in attendance?
yes, he was in
He was
attendance.
okay,
still.
yeah, because I saw someone in the sling, but I didn't talk to them, and I figured that was him, but I didn't know.
Yeah, he was in attendance. I mean, it's a shame he wasn't able to go out there and face Sage, but you know, Jerry Gigolo was a very good replacement, and hopefully we get to see Joe Hyken in the future at a Sabotage show. If not, you can always check him out in SoCal, and I think he's very, very a hidden talent that people will be seeing soon in the future.
Yeah,
So look him up.
this is the first time that you've run a show and you've had to replace people on the card. Just with Sabotage, I'm sure. I know you helped out with plenty of other promotions, but
Yeah.
is it a little frustrating when you have to do that? I mean, yeah, it sucks that this was an injury. The other one was due to contract
No,
obligations.
I don't think it's it sucks at all because it's just like I mean maybe if it happened on the day of the show, that kind
Yeah,
of thing
you were
would
fortunate
suck.
enough to be given enough time
Yeah,
to find
I
a
mean, because
replacement, right?
I mean, we get a lot of offers that people want to work for Sabotage, and I'm sure like other promotions, if bookers and promoters get a lot of mail about they want to work for their promotions. It's just about Sabotage if we are able to find the right talent that we want to work with us, because we just don't want anybody working at Sabotage. One of the things we pride ourselves is working with people who have really good attitudes in the locker room, treating each other with respect. We know there's a lot of that the bad apples out there, and we try to like steer away from that.
Have you ever ran into a bad apple at any of your shows?
Yeah, we have one, but that person's no longer working with us, and hopefully we don't have any more because we kind of weed that out right away. If someone has an attitude in the locker room, or it's just difficult to work with, we just tell them, it was nice having you, and we're just going to move along.
Yeah. And then what's been the feedback like? Because as I mentioned earlier in the show, that's the first time it's been all intergender matches on a card from top to bottom. And I imagine with this being the first time being done, there's got to be some people that are like turned off by that, or other, and I'm sure there's been plenty of others that have been high praise. Like for example, Kevin Harvey, we saw. He wrote this really long article, not really long, but it was like 2 paragraphs, putting over Sabotage and a couple of other people that were, I think Joey Ryan was included on that. He did some stuff with Mick Foley that same weekend. But
yeah,
just like that, praise like that, have you been getting some of the backlash and some of the praise as well?
Actually, we haven't gotten any backlash or any kind of. When I first put the card together, I was thinking, okay, we're going to have some kind of people saying this is stupid or things like that, but we actually didn't get any at all. And even at the show, most of the people who were at the show told me how they loved it, loved the show. It seemed like it was realistic. It didn't seem like it was, outrageous that the men were losing to a female or anything like that. I think that because all the performers that we have working for us, they always put 100% in, You see that in everything they do, and I think that it just got away from any kind of negativity.
Did you get any? Is there anyone that you tried to book and they told you either going into, and you don't have to give names. I'm not asking for names. I'm just asking if this happened. They told you, yeah, I'll do the show, but there's no way I'm losing to a woman, or vice versa, a woman saying, yeah, I'll do the show, but I'm not losing to a man.
Actually, I've never had any feedback from any of the wrestlers about complaining about wins or losses. I actually had one trying to figure out a different ending, but it was not in their favor.
Right.
So that was actually a surprise, like someone wanted the ending to be a little bit different in favor of the other person. But, yeah, we like I said, we try to screen that beforehand.
Right.
To make sure we're not bringing any divas or prima donnas in there right off the bat, So that's why we focus on a lot of the newer talent. People are hungry, trying to make a name for themselves, instead of just booking a bunch of people who are already names,
Right. And 2 other people that I wanted to give a shout out to was Rocket Boy and Human Tornado. Because as I mentioned a little while ago, the tag match stood out to me enough to where I texted you and was like, yo, this is a good story between these 4 people that are wrestling, these 4 wrestlers that are wrestling right now. But off of not just this show, but any of your other previous shows that you have had, is there anyone that you really would like to bring to Texas that you haven't brought yet? Like I know we brought Shotzi and Rays and some of the other California, Raylan, some of the Heather Monroe. They were all here in the May show, and predominantly Texas is the home for Sabotage now.
Yes.
We're not rolling out a return to California. Obviously, everyone has stated, yes, California. Sabotage. Rudy is obviously pushing for that as well. He's like, we need to go back to California, and that's obviously going to be in the plans at some point. We don't know when, but it will go back. But for the time being,
somewhere by the beach?
Well, for one, we'd love to have all the California girls who've worked for Sabotage at one point come to Texas. Like we were able to get a good chunk of them the last time, but there's others like Samara, Buggy Nova.
Violet Payne.
Well, I think she's back in Oklahoma.
Is she?
I'm not sure, but
that might make it a little bit more easier to
even better.
Boom Harris says B-Boy. Yeah, that'd be good too.
B-Boy, yes. Who, by the way, I gotta stop. I gotta give him a huge shout out because he welcomed us into his home. Him and his wife Laura, they welcomed. Or they're not married yet, but they're getting married. It's his wife.
Either way,
it's his wife.
If they aren't, they did it.
Yes, him and Laura. They welcomed us into their home. B-Boy was like, whatever you want, just get it. My house is your house. His wife, Laura, said the same thing. And then you were there. We were all there. And, they were just like, get whatever. You're hungry, eat. If you're thirsty, drink whatever. It's your house.
They really saved us because I won't get into the story why we ended up staying at his house, but they saved us on a
Oh yeah.
nightmarish scenario. So yes, I give him major props to B-Boy and his family,
Yeah,
and
for
everyone
sure.
else that was helping out.
It was great.
Yeah, for sure. So
Stayed up all
Oh.
night talking.
hopefully, yeah, hopefully we can get B-Boy out here in Texas at some point.
Hope
Yeah.
so.
But
Well, going back to your question.
yeah,
like,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
All the California girls, I would love to get them out here at one point or another, and maybe just having a big California versus Texas showdown. You know,
That would be a good one. Almost
Uh,
like a War of the Gingers ish, but it's like War of the States.
yeah. Even though most of our roster here are from Oklahoma too, but
It could kind of be like Midwest versus West
Texas-
or something.
Texas.
California versus Red River.
yeah.
No, we're not going to bring that. No.
But
Riv-
then
River Red.
some outside talents, of course. Like I'd love at one point or another to bring the Stardom girls to Texas. No matter who we can get. Of course, Chris Wolf is like our number one person that we would love to give, because Sabotage has a big history with working with Stardom. So any Stardom girls that we can get would be a major plus.
I'm glad you brought that up because I want to talk about that. But I do want to, before I get into that, Jason is in the chat room and he's saying Chris Wolf. He's chanting for Chris Wolf. He's also agreeing with the B-Boy to Texas, as you just said, and he wants to reunite Doom Buggy. So he wants Buggy Nova to come back or come to Texas so that
Yes.
she could be reunited with current Sabotage champion Delilah Doom. But I'm glad you brought. And is it okay for me to talk about what we were watching the other night?
Sure.
It sounds weird.
No.
What?
It's wrestling. It was the prequel to Sabotage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what a lot of people don't know, and even Rudy don't know. I kind of told you about this the other day, but should we tell? You want to tell that? Let's tell that story. So let's tell the story about how basically Sabotage was born. So I'll set it up, and then I'll let you take it over from there. So pretty much Stardom. Everyone knows who Stardom is. Stardom is a huge promotion in Japan. Features some of the best women wrestlers in the world.
Yes.
They wanted to branch out and bring Stardom to the United States, so they started Stardom USA. They ran a couple shows, which you were at, and you helped organize, and you did, countless things for them. They ran 2 shows. They were planning on running a third, and stuff started going south, right? Or am I saying that part wrong? I'll let you take over from there.
yeah,
They were planning
so-
on running a third, and then what happened?
Yeah, so mostly I didn't help out too much with the first Stardom shows. That was Thunder Rosa mostly helping with that. Her and Bart were helping, and Jesse Hernandez.
Related to
actually-
Rudy?
Huh?
Related to Rudy?
I don't know.
Maybe somehow.
He's the promoter for EWF. So they basically were, and Cheerleader Melissa, were laying the groundwork for Stardom USA to be like an annual event that happens yearly in, the Los Angeles area. In 2016, they were going to run another show. Somehow that show was like falling apart, and I was talked to by a promoter in Mexico and also Stardom themselves if I wanted to help out to save the show, and I kind of said, yeah, of course I'd love to.
Right.
I didn't know what I was really getting myself into at the time. But that was kind of, we were going to call it a Stardom USA, 2. But we got some pushback and told us that we couldn't. And basically they were trying to cancel that show. I felt it was kind of being sabotaged at the beginning. So we ended up saying, okay, well, we're going to start our own promotion. And we're going to call it Sabotage. At this point, we're going to run a show regardless if any Stardom girls come or not.
Right.
So it's not a Stardom USA show. It was just going to be a Sabotage show. But I put out an invitation to the Stardom girls. Since you already got, your foot in the door of coming, why cancel if, we're going to run a show? Why don't you be a part of it? I was told many times there's no way you could put a show together in 6 weeks from scratch.
6 weeks it took you for the first show.
We had no money set up for it, anything. I didn't have enough money in the bank to run the show, anything. I just said, I'll do it. I'll figure it out. So basically, we got girls from Stardom. We got girls from Canada at that point, Caitlin Diamond. We got girls from WWS Mexico. We had girls from Texas come. I think we had Delilah, some others.
Yeah.
And primarily most of the girls from California, and we decided to run that Sabotage show. And from there, it was all history. You know, we ran the show, and we had no intention of running a show, 2 or 3 months down the line, but we saw that show was pretty successful, and we said, hey, let's run another one in 3 months. And that's kind of how Sabotage got started.
Then I was at the second one.
Yeah, so I saw the first one being advertised on Twitter, and that's how I first met you, Brian. Through that was just looking and seeing. I was like, man, I think I took a screenshot of the show and I sent it to you, right? And I was like, check out this show. Like, this show is crazy. Like, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's mainly all women. There are some men on there, obviously, but for the most part, like every Sabotage show, it's mostly women, and then men get a spot there.
Yeah, we didn't advertise any men though.
No, that's what I was saying. Well, that's why I sent the screenshot, and I was like, it's all women.
Yeah,
all women show that's going down, and I was like, it's a shame that I'm gonna be in California on the wrong side of California, because at that time my vacation was already planned. I was going to be in San Francisco for a week, and then I changed the plans at the back end of my my vacation. I changed it to go to LA, and the show was like 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes away because of traffic, or no, was it like an hour away with traffic
from the airport.
No, from LA.
West Covina. You never know, man.
I think it took us
30 minutes to 3 hours.
I think
in LA.
When we went, it took us 2 hours to get to Covina.
It sounds about right.
From the airport, and I was just like, wow, this is really way out here. But yeah, so I saw it, and if people that are watching on Twitch, they can see right now I have a flyer up from the first show, and you got Kerry Hojo, Taya, Yoko Bito, Delilah Doom, Shots. Basically, all of the people that you see now at Sabotage shows were there with some extras. You had a lot of international wrestlers, as you mentioned. You still extended the invite to the Stardom women. Obviously, Kerry Hojo, who's now Kerry Sane. Is that right? Kerry Sane in WWE or NXT. I'm assuming she's going to start there. I don't know. I know she's in the Mae Young Classic, so shout out to her. But yeah, Sabotage is the only American promotion that can say that Kerry Hojo wrestled before she went off to do what she's doing now, correct?
No, yeah, that and Stardom USA, technically, I would guess you could say. The Stardom USA is more of a branch of Stardom. So, I would say the only...
Outside of Stardom, then?
Yeah, outside of Stardom.
We could say outside, because that was her home promotion in Japan, right?
Stardom, yes.
So we can say outside of her home promotion.
Yes.
This is the only one. Did you have something to say?
No, I just remember you telling me about that show, and like, hey, we're going to interview everybody.
Yeah,
from that show, we're going to try to interview
everyone. I think we
everyone.
interviewed everyone but like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, and you were like, here are these 4 people.
Yeah, I gave you people to research.
Yeah,
right?
just here, find out stuff, send me questions.
Oh, you did interviews before the show leading up to it, right? That's how we kind of like got
Yeah,
to
so I saw the show. I sent the Rudy the screenshot and said, wouldn't it be cool to cover this show? He's like, yeah. And I was like, well, we're going to at least interview everyone that's going to be on that show, or try to.
Yeah.
And then that's when I reached out to you. Well, I reached out to the whoever. I didn't know who was running the Twitter. I was just like, I reached out to whoever, which ended up being you. And I was just like, hey, told you what I run this website, do this, blah, 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 XYZ. Can you help me get interviews with the women that are on your show? You're like, yeah, no problem. And then you set a lot of those interviews up, or you at least gave me emails like, hey, email this person here, and then they will get back to you. And if they don't, let me know, and I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it was all I had to do was send the email, and then they replied right back. Luckily, we ran into Taya in San Antonio about 3 weeks before the show.
Yeah.
So I just interviewed her there.
Yeah, she was like, oh, yeah. We're like, oh, we could just want to do the interview right now. She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
She was all cool about it. It was just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, one funny story I forgot to tell about that is not only do we only have 6 weeks, but it was only a week and a half before the show start or 2 weeks before the show start that we were actually able to say that Kairi Hojo and Yoko Bito were going to be there because of passport problems.
Really?
Like them giving us. So it was kind of like we had I had not nonstop question: are any Stardom girls going to be there? Are any Stardom girls going to be there? That was kind of like the thing I was answering on a hourly basis.
Really?
So it was kind of like you're trying to get the Stardom the people who support Stardom to show up without actually being able to advertise them. So we were kind of like in a bind, like, no, trust me, someone will be there. Just please buy your ticket and show
Yeah.
up, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like an act of good faith. Them trusted me, us trusting the Sabotage. Well, you know, not even a brand yet, but a promotion that had never even run a show yet. Trying to say, here, buy this $80 VIP package, and trust me, someone's going to be there that you're going to like. So it was very
VIP was $80.
the VIP. Yeah, they got like a T-shirt. They got
Meet and greet.
meet
got a
and
picture
greet,
of the
the
ring.
picture. They got a lot,
Yeah.
a few items, you know. So it
Shirts.
was like,
You said? Did you say that already?
Yeah.
Shirt.
I mean, it was worth it from what I.
And the women signed the. You gave them a poster, and the women signed it.
Yeah,
Remember,
the
I saw
women
people
signed all the
walking around with
poster and
posters.
stuff like that. So we try to make it worth their while, but trying to sell them on something that
Doesn't exist yet.
doesn't exist, and you know, we're praying that everything was going to work out
Right.
because Stardom could have pulled out of the deal at any moment, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, it was like an act of good faith came through. I think the show was pretty successful, and it led to more shows.
I want to talk about Joey Rodriguez for a second. Or I'm sorry, Jose Antonio Gonzalez. Sorry, I said his real name. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about him for a second.
Yeah, that fool.
First, okay, before I get to that, what is the deal with you and Joey? Where did this beef come from?
I don't know, because he likes to sleep, and
Is it because you like to sleep?
Yeah,
he likes,
but
he's like only one of us can sleep.
yeah, I can't sleep because he's always sleeping, and I got to stay awake to hang out with Brian if we're going somewhere, or, oh, hey, well, record this, and then he
Such a
goes
torture.
sleep.
Someone has to stay awake with me.
Yeah, way to
Yeah.
go, Rudy. Way to make it sound
Well,
like
it's just
torture.
giving him an example. Well, I'm just saying yeah, whatever.
So you
You know
guys-
what?
What?
It was funny when he tried to get off the ring at the last show.
Oh, and he ate it?
Yeah, he just ate
I
it.
thought he got pushed. And I went and asked him. I said, did someone push you? He said, no, I just fell.
I looked
by
back
myself."
and his foot's in the apron and he's on the ground.
I saw it happen.
I just heard a
Oh.
thud.
Yeah,
I
but
was like, go to sleep now.
we got to settle this at the October show. Maybe I don't know what
No.
we're gonna do, but something.
I'll let Boom Harris take care of that.
He's listening. So
That's why. Hey, Jason, you got this.
what do you want him to do? What is Jason gonna do for you?
Whatever he wants.
So if he puts you in a match, you're gonna be like, okay, whatever.
Not whatever he wants. I mean,
You
whatever
just
he
said
wants
whatever
to do
he
to
wants.
him.
Oh, whatever he wants to do.
Yeah,
to
whatever
Joey.
he wants to do to Joey.
Okay, so
You know what? Turn his mic off.
turn whose mic off?
Joey's during commentary. You can just turn his
No, we
mic
need
off.
him to do
Oh.
commentary.
Well, never mind. We'll figure this out. This is all on the fly right now.
Live edit.
Live edit.
Shout out to a
Shout
previous
out.
show that's never coming back. But yes, so Joey Rodriguez, how did he get involved with Sabotage Wrestling? Because obviously now he's doing, he's on the commentary team with Jason, and those guys are heading that department up.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Joey for a few years. We used to be fans together, going to Hood Slam, and I think I told him like, "Hey, Stardom USA show is coming." The year before, we drove down together. He stayed with me and Mel.
He's a big like
Stardom fan,
Yeah, he's-
Japanese wrestling in
Japanese.
general.
Yes.
Me and him didn't put up flyers on the first show, but for our first show for Sabotage, he came down here with me. We plastered the city of Covina, other cities surrounding it. Joey's more of a vocal person. He'll go up in the stores, ask him, we put flyers up. Really helpful in that aspect. He helps out with our Instagram. He actually runs the Instagram for Sabotage, and he just helps however he can. I mean, he's helped with sound on the first show. The first show we didn't even have a commentary team, so he was just kind of like the guy running around doing everything. Joey's just like part of Sabotage family and just does whatever he can to make sure the show is running smooth.
Yep. You look like you're ready.
I was gonna say,
Rudy's
it
like
seems-
cringing as you're talking.
It seems
and-
like Joey now just kind of does commentary, and everyone else is running around doing everything at the shows, and he just shows up. My headphones ain't on.
He's like, I can't hear. Out of my
I can't
headphones.
hear. Turn your headphones up.
Like, why did
Yeah,
you
Joey did kind of show up last minute this time.
Yeah,
he
he
did a
just
lot of the
showed up.
groundwork, but
But Joey does a lot. For
yeah, he
Sabotage,
does.
so I-
He like I said, he helps out.
not
on
to
them.
say that Rudy does. I'm just saying.
And I wasn't on. We were all doing a lot of stuff that
I
that
know.
show.
You even had to leave
I
and
had
go
to
try to
leave,
get
take a trip.
the wireless mic that we have right here sitting on the
At
table.
least I had to leave. And
Yeah. Well, one thing that Joey does too is a lot of the, I tell him, okay, this is who we're using. If it's just use Delilah Doom at the first show. Like, who's Delilah Doom? Okay, well, I want you to find out everything about Delilah Doom.
Oh yeah, he does
know,
really,
yeah.
and he does do a good job of posting like mini bios on Instagram and stuff.
So Joey's the kind of like for the investigative team or something to find out like who's this person, where they get trained at,
He's the stalker.
making sure they're a legit wrestler.
So
you
he's
know.
stalker.
He's the stalker slash
Yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah, he
Ryan was a
does.
stalker.
Actually, he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, whenever we're ready to start announcing matches and stuff, I got stuff like written for the Instagram ready to go." I was like, "Oh wow, that's cool."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He goes to the Instagram.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how did y'all pick Delilah Doom to be on the first show?
Delilah Doom, I saw her at a show in Northern California about, I don't even know, it was like February, right before Mel went to Stardom. Mel wasn't even wrestling on the show. She was so new that, we went up there, did ring crew for a promotion called Gold Rush, and Mel was just hoping to get on the show. They had 4 girls out there. It was like Sage Sin, Andrea the Giant, and Delilah Doom. Some other girl, I don't remember who it was. But I really liked her style, her character, her charisma. Kind of went away. Her and Mel kind of talked on social media a little bit, and it was just somebody in the back of my mind. I always thought like, oh, if I ever start a female promotion, which I always intended to, she would be good for it. I had a vision for her way before I even knew how good of a wrestler she was. So that's kind of how we found Delilah, and I asked her, hey, do you want to be on the Texas show? And she was like, on the LA show, and she was like, yeah, she wanted to.
Yeah, because I know that was one of the first things too. Is Jeff, we were like, oh, Delilah Doom's gonna be there, and that's kind of like one of the only, not the only wrestler we knew, but the main ones because she was here.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool. It's kind of, I think, caught his attention too, also about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we met her shortly before that for the very first time, right?
Yeah, at RCW.
Yeah, the women's tournament at
Yeah.
RCW.
So I think we interviewed her once or twice, and we were just like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
And then now we're here.
and
Mel says she's going to sleep.
here we are, going to sleep.
Yeah, I guess
Good.
she's listening.
Good night, Thunder Rosa. Thank you for listening.
Sorry to bore you.
Sorry,
I'm glad you were telling the story. Thank you.
but yeah. So then you call the promotion sabotage because of what's going on.
It was kind of like a running joke. I even told the promoter from Mexico, and I got the okay from the promoter from Japan. I was like, well, we're just going to call it sabotage because they were like, they even felt like some people behind the scenes were trying to stop the promotion from going through because they felt insulted that we could try to think that we're arrogant enough to be able to run a show with only 6 weeks preparation. And we said, screw that, we're going to do it, and we're going to have a successful show, and we did.
Yep. But going into that first show, the plan was not originally to keep running, right? It was just like, let's do this one and see how it goes.
It never was. Even if we were going to run, it was probably going to be like a yearly thing. And I remember I put out a Twitter poll or something like that the next day. I was like, because I was, like after every sabotage, you've been with me most of them. I'm like on this high, like you feel invincible. The show went perfect. It was good, great crowd. The people were talking great about it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey, let's put a Twitter poll. How often do you think we should run? And people were like, 3 months. That came out to be the ideal time, and we were like, well, let's try 1 in 3 months. And we did, and that one was very successful. And right before then we were like, hey, if we're going to run a show, why don't we get a belt, start, forming a real promotion. We felt we needed a belt. And that's a whole nother story, but
Do you want to tell that story? Because that story's never been told. And people, I don't think anyone, it's never been told publicly.
we could do that the next time. We'll
do that.
keep that on record. Ask about the belt.
Someone remind us to tell the belt story next time, and then things will all make sense as far as the second show for Sabotage. But so then the first show goes down. I was there with my wife. We were there, and she doesn't really normally like wrestling. She'll watch it because our daughter, the oldest daughter, is in love with wrestling. At one point, not so much now, she's kind of fading out of it, but at one point, and Rudy can attest to this, she knew everything. She would go back and watch old stuff and like tell Rudy even too, like, oh, I just watched so and so and so and so. Rudy's like, what? Like, how did you even know that?
Whoever you are, she watched more than you.
Yeah. Like she was watching it religiously. But going back to my wife, she's just like I said, she watches it because Elena's watching Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and all the pay-per-views because we have the WWE Network. So she's like, I gotta watch everything, and so she just like slowly got into it. But then she went to her first show was your show. Your first show was her first show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, her very first independent show was Sabotage's debut show. And she was just like, so this is the kind of wrestling like you go to, like, because like we're doing heel face stuff. So she's like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of stuff like you go and do. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. It's like basically the same thing. And she was like, wow, that was fun. She's like, I didn't think that I'd have that much fun at a show, but I
Yeah.
did. So then it was that. And I'll tell you, I think she's gone to one other promotion, which I don't remember who it is. And it probably doesn't matter. But she always looks forward to going to Sabotage shows. So she's just there.
Well, that was because it was after Sabotage show we went.
What do you mean? Oh, that was the only
The other
reason why
show.
she,
Yeah, it was the other show.
Otherwise, she wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Because we were
It
her
was-
ride. That's
yeah.
why. If we weren't her ride, she would have been back
Because
here.
we came straight from the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so she was forced into going to another show, which she probably was like, man, whatever. I'll be like, she was not interested in the other show. She was like sitting down, just kind of like, right. You were ringside, but
Yeah.
she was there with
Oh,
us.
the
And she's
memories.
just like sitting there, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, the point of my story is she loves Sabotage Wrestling. She's always looking forward to it, especially my daughter. You were here the other night when she's like, "When's the next show?" Like,
Yeah.
hurry, basically like hurry up. Like, when is this next show going down?
Yeah.
So that obviously, if you're turning someone who doesn't even watch wrestling or doesn't even like wrestling, and they're wanting and looking forward to the next shows, and
Yeah, I think that's the key with like Sabotage. Like, we're not trying to appeal to the. I don't know how to say it without sounding mean, but
say
the mark customers, the
Right.
ones who only will come for the big names.
yeah,
What we try to do is instill like, sounds kind of corner, but like power to women,
yeah,
and like them seeing the women in a legitimate match.
Yeah.
Because normally you go to a show, they're in these 3-ways or 2-on-2,
Or
6
5-minute
minute,
matches.
5-minute matches that are just like, there's no way and half the promoters don't know how to book women's wrestlers. They put these terrible combinations together.
It's just I found two women that are
Yeah, or people will just stand there in the middle of the ring and don't do anything. But we try to
Maybe-
find professionals, and we try to find people who are hungry to prove themselves in a way that are going to be appealing to the fan base. And that's one of the things we do with, like, sometimes we have a pre-show, we'll have a
talent show.
talent show just to show these women in a different light, that hey, they're more than just wrestlers. They're females just like you. They're people who are like got talent in other aspects, and they're just not just somebody who's going to go out there and do a 6 to 7 boring minute match. Not to say that all of our matches have been 5-star matches, but
6
they're all been entertaining.
Yeah, for sure, and it's different, like I said, and it helps build because everybody has to start somewhere. So
Yeah.
I think it helps give that platform for people who might not normally get that and do what they do. Because,
Yeah.
like, as you mentioned, and I've heard Mel say this. I think she was just on Medusa's podcast, and she's like, women are given way less opportunities than the men are, and even when they do get the opportunities, it's like, okay, you got 7 minutes, curtain to curtain. So
Yeah.
some of the time is you're walking to the ring. So if you're not running to the ring, basically, you're given 3-4 minutes to wrestle.
Yeah, and I don't think we've given anyone under 10 minutes. Some of them have gone to under 10 minutes, but pretty much like they're guaranteed to get like 10 minutes in their match. Now, I always tell them, too, it's up to you to entertain the people for 10 minutes. I'm going to give you the time, give you the opportunity, but you two still got to come and bring it, because if not, people could shit the bed, and we've seen that happen, and plenty of times in other promotions, even if they are given the correct amount of time. But I think the way we work with the talent, that they know we got their back in the long run, even if they make mistakes, that we're not going to be like, oh, that shit, you're not going to work with us no more, because people are going to make mistakes in the ring. But for the most part, we've been pretty lucky, and we haven't seen a lot of really bad. I don't think we've ever seen a bad match at Sabotage, to be honest. And I'm pretty picky.
He is.
Heard it before all the time.
What?
He's pretty picky,
Yeah.
and he has an opinion.
You heard him say it himself.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm just backing it up.
Yeah, I mean, there's been
Well-
many times that, just to use my wife as an example, that she'll come back and we get in an argument because I'm like, what the hell was that? You know, not at Sabotage, but like at other promotions. I was like, that's not a representation of you, or, you know, even with her and her tag partner, Holiday, you know, like sometimes I've seen them put to matches and they'll know if it's bad. They'll just kind of like, okay, Brian, we know. But they still know that they're going to have to hear it from me a little bit. Just because, you know, we expect, in me and Mel and Holiday, we all expect, you know, kind of trying to strive for perfection. So we do hold ourselves accountable when, you know, put together a shitty product.
So Twisted Sisters obviously vacated the belts. Are they going to be guaranteed a chance to reclaim them at any point?
I'd say anytime that they can both get it on their schedule and figure it out, and we're able to bring both of them over. I mean, one of them's living here, but, you know, like, so basically, you know, to work with Holiday and make sure that we can get her over. If it fits in the storylines and things like that, yeah, I definitely think they deserve a chance to get their belts back. They're actually working together this weekend in New England for
Tomorrow night?
tomorrow night for, what's the name of the promotion?
Is it WWR?
It's on her social media. Yeah,
We'll figure it out and
Yeah.
we'll say it later.
she's working for a promotion called Women's Wrestling.
Women's Wrestling Revolution?
Yeah, Women's Wrestling
WWR.
Revolution. WWR.
Shout out to them. But one question I have to ask on there, because people are asking me, they want to know the Ruby Ray situation.
Mhm.
Now, at the May show, she outlasted 8 other women to become the number 1 contender of the Sabotage World Championship, which is currently held by Delilah Doom. Obviously, if you don't know, you're living under a rock or something. I don't know. But is that match going to happen? Because, like I said, people are asking me.
Yeah, pretty much has to happen. It didn't happen at the last show because it was, you know, a War of the Genders show. So we wanted to book her for the October show. She was currently, you know, we don't have a set schedule set out for like a year and a half. Or,
Right.
you know, basically we run a show and then we set the date for the next show. Hopefully that changes, you know, now that we have a stable place. We're going to be running here in Austin, possibly in San Diego again. But, you know, for the most part,
Yes.
most of our shows will be in
You get approval from Rudy.
Yeah.
for that.
Yes.
most of our shows will be in Austin, and hopefully by January we'll be able to run monthly, hopefully, you know, or at least every other month, and then we could set that match up. You know, I know Delilah's going to California soon, so who knows? Maybe it might happen there. But even if it happens there, I'd still think that we need to get that matchup to happen in front of a Sabotage crowd.
Ruby Reyes wants to be on. I'm talking about War of Genders too. Sometimes she was like, "Can I play?"
I saw Baby D said the same. I saw Tornado said the same.
Mhm.
B-Boys didn't say it, but he said it because,
Yeah.
you know, when he tweeted out. But before we get into all of that, I want to talk about Weird City Warfare Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's going to crown the new, as we just touched on, the titles, tag titles are vacated. It's going to crown new tag team champions. You got 8 women entering: Callista, Deva, Skylar Slice, Phoebe, Nikki Knight, Robin Reed, Divinity, Machiko, and Baby D. They're all in this Weird City Warfare Part 2 to try to become the new tag team champions. Anyone, and like I said, this is probably an unfair question to ask you, but I'm going to ask it anyways because I have to. But is there anyone, or any two, I should say, that stand out to you that you're like, I don't know, it's going to be tough to beat these two?
Well, just a lot of these participants were in the first Weird City Warfare match. You had who were the ones in there? Callista,
Skylar,
Phoebe,
Baby D.
Baby D were in that one.
So
Baby D was
half
like,
of the field was in it.
yeah, Baby D, like when she was in there, she was pretty much dominating. So I can easily see Baby D being one of the final 2 competitors. A lot of it comes down to like when do they enter,
Do you
as we've
think?
seen the last time.
Do you think these women are gonna? Because like we saw the promo from Robin Reed, so obviously her and someone else who we don't know who it is yet, but she's already talking to somebody else, and they're like, "Hey, we need to work together and try to claim these belts. Is that something that you even thought of when you created this match? Did you think, okay, people are going to start to form their little clique and say, we got to outlast everyone, so I'm going to need help in order to do that?
I mean, I wouldn't say, like, I wouldn't give away if I thought of that, but I would think it would be common sense that if you're going in a room with 8 people, usually you look for your boy
Right.
to say, hey, I'm not going to fight 7 other people by myself.
Right.
Even if, because it could be those 7 decided, like, oh, Baby D, she's a big girl. Let's all just take Baby D out right away,
Right.
So you have to look at someone like Baby D or Callista or Skylar, who are some of the bigger girls. They're like, hey, well, I know a lot of them are going to be gunning for me right off the bat, so let me find another partner. It only makes sense, I would think, to be like, let me pick somebody else who's got my back.
It is a tag team.
We do have 4 girls from Oklahoma in this match and 4 girls from Texas. It might end up being Texas versus Oklahoma somewhere down the line. And then there's the last 2 standing, Or you just never know, because a lot of these girls, I don't even, know a lot of their personal history here in Texas with each other. But, yeah, I mean, you two would know a little bit more about that, like the matches they've had with each other, who've worked together before and things like that. But I can just see any combination of two women coming out of this.
I think a lot of these women that are in this match have held gold, maybe not tag team gold, but just gold in general, at other promotions before. So they know what it's like to hold championship gold. So they're obviously going to have that experience. And yes, it's a little bit different because this is a tag team, as Rudy just mentioned, and stakes are high, and the match is formatted a little bit different than the traditional 2-on-2 or 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, it all depends on where you come out or what number you draw, and the Weird City Warfare. That's the thing you don't know. You don't know what position you're coming out until you get to the show, the day of the show. Then you draw your number, and you're like, okay, well, I'm number whatever.
Yeah.
So no one really has the advantage of knowing ahead of time, like, oh, I'm gonna be number 1, so I gotta train extra hard. Or they're like,
Yeah.
I'm number 8, I can just relax and hang out.
Yeah, because we saw the last one. Ruby Reyes was the last one in her last show, right?
That's correct.
And you saw that number 8 spot was not taking anything away from her talent, but was able to work in her favor.
Yeah.
She was
Is that
hanging
the-
out drinking.
Number 9 spot.
Is
It was
it
9.
number 9 spot? But if that was, I'm not saying that was the reason she won, but it definitely gave her a bigger advantage, because when she came down, she was number 9. The last 2 was number 9 and number 1. Number 1 has gone through. They enter every 3 minutes. So how much extra time is that?
At least 27 minutes.
Yeah. So that number 1 spot, she was in there for 27 minutes, and Ruby's coming in pretty fresh. So that gives her quite a bit of advantage. Whoever comes in at number 8 spot or number 7 spot. Rudy?
I liked the match. It was great.
This is good input from you, Rudy. I mean, it's typical.
It was
Rudy.
Ray's just hanging out there
And
watching the match.
The first
and
one was
sitting there.
not 9 girls. This one currently only states that we have 8. So you never know. We might add another one.
Ooh,
Another one
That might
just
be a
pop up.
surprise person.
surprise entrant into the Weird
Dun,
City
dun,
Warfare.
dun.
Yeah.
Ooh, now who could that be, Rudy? Who would you guess?
don't
If you had to
know.
guess one person in the entire world, who would be the 9th entrant? Who would you guess?
Chris Wolf.
You think they would keep that a secret?
Well, yeah, we'll keep it a secret from Jason.
No.
Imagine him blowing up on commentary.
He
and
will
popping-
leave the commentary table and head
imagine
towards
that
the ring.
happening.
Like, I just see his hat popping off his head.
Camouflage hat.
Yeah,
You
that
can't even see it.
camouflage hat just go up in the air.
It's funny because we were with Jason yesterday, and he told the story about. Remember when no one could see him? He was
Yeah,
literally John
Inspire.
Cena.
He was at Inspire.
Camo. Shout out to Inspire. But yeah, so we'll save the rest of the sabotage story for the next one of these that we do, because it has to pick up from the February show, because we have to talk the belt story, and then Rudy getting involved with the camera stuff, and crowning the first ever champion, and Donovan had a lot to do with stuff that went down at the show. I'm sure that'll be told in the belt story, because it all ties in together.
I thought Donovan was so nice. Did the first interview.
You thought he was
First
Southern.
show, yeah.
And then
And then,
Thought he was so nice.
yeah, I was like, oh, what a nice guy. Look at this.
then
Where
what?
was this interview at?
It's on our website.
Yeah, it was the
I got
before the first show.
This is before he turned to Evil Donovan.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he's loud.
He is.
He's
But
a-
he's not louder than ACH.
He seems like
Oh God, imagine them two in a room.
Oh, I don't want to. Shout out to ACH though.
Yeah, that would be great
For who?
for everybody.
Not. I don't want to be in that room.
I don't want to be in the room. Well, no, I would. I just want.
You'll be recording
I
because
know.
it'll probably
I
be
just
for
wanna
a
hit record
documentary.
and then, oh, that would be so awesome.
No.
Imagine if he managed ACH.
Here's Jason says
It'd be
he would mark the F out if Chris Wolf showed
I
up.
know he would.
Is Jason the only listener?
I don't know. Let me see. We got 3 people
No.
listening.
Is this recorded? to
3.
be put on later?
Yeah, we could replay it later on. And I'll pull the audio from the video and we'll put it up on iTunes and Stitcher and all the other good Google Play and all the good places that we put it. So let's see what else we got to talk about. Oh, Thunder Rosa documentaries. Part 2 was recently released on YouTube. We released
Yeah.
it exclusively on what you're listening now on Twitch for everyone to check out. On YouTube now. Rudy, I wanted to ask you what it's been like to produce these documentaries.
Work. Working at work.
How did you not know there was a third part coming out? Because you agreed to you
I
signed,
heard-
like
I
when the
heard
deal was
rumors.
made.
I heard rumblings.
What do you mean? It was clear as day. The deal was for 3 docs.
Yeah, but got to figure out what the third one's about.
You have plenty of footage.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I do, but I don't know.
You make the third one about packing to go to Europe.
There you go.
No, I think he already has enough footage to make it.
You should have had a camera on the car ride from California to Texas.
Why didn't y'all?
I'm talking about the moving.
I know. that's
Yeah,
what
why
I'm saying.
didn't you?
Why
He
didn't
said,
y'all?
why didn't you?
Could have bought a GoPro, just put it right there in the corner of the car, or not worry about it.
Just show the story of her
Yeah.
almost running over a deer.
Jason said, what? Jason said he supports ACH at Sabotage. Rudy, what has been the most difficult part of making the doc and the most rewarding? So answer the most difficult part
Most
first.
difficult trying to figure out how to put it together and thinking the whole time, God, this is gonna suck and I'm gonna get yelled at.
By who?
Everybody.
Is that why you want to do a pre-screening with me here?
Yes.
It all makes sense now. What's been the most rewarding?
Not having anyone yell at me that it sucked yet.
You're getting a lot of love on, or not a lot, because we just put it up, but on YouTube,
You could have left a lot.
you're getting a lot of love on YouTube. People are commenting and saying that it's really great work. And like the same guy said he really liked part 1, and then he watched part 2, and he was like, I don't know how, but part 2 is even better than part 1.
Yeah, I
And part
don't
2 is awesome because it starts out and it's like real.
Oh yeah.
Really real. And like she's cussing and telling people how it is. She doesn't hold anything back. It's like,
Yeah.
if you're not doing this and you're not doing that,
Mhm.
you ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
And then she says, all the sacrifices that they have to make, time away from family, time away from your significant other, time away from everything. You miss everything. You miss birthdays, anniversaries, holidays. You miss not holidays.
Holiday.
You miss that. But if you have not watched it, it's here on our Twitch. If not, go to our YouTube, check it out. It's really good. Part 2, I got to
Like-
give you kudos for that, Rudy. It's really good.
Like-
Part 1 is good, but part 2 is
Yeah.
better.
Part 1 was more about the Sabotage show
It was.
from the one in Austin, and part 2 is more of her, just her life, her little
This
story,
life.
this life she has.
What's part 3 gonna be about?
Packing to Europe,
Back in Europe.
Europa,
Europa. All right, we'll have to see. What?
Europa vacation.
It's
one.
basically she's only back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so you better do all that filming.
Oh, I
in
know.
3 days.
Well,
Just
good luck, Rudy.
great. Now I
Wait,
gotta
she's
figure
only back. She leaves next week.
She leaves to go to NorCal again, Atlanta, and from there she leaves from LA. Yeah,
From Atlanta, she leaves to LA to go to.
yeah.
Well,
She's only here
right.
in Texas for like 3 or 4 days.
She
you
goes
got
like,
3 more days to finish to film the next
she goes
doc.
all the way to L.A. to go all the way to Europe.
Yes.
Sounds backwards.
I don't know. That's probably just where they booked the ticket from.
Yeah, that was because we were living in Cali
Wow.
at the time.
There you go.
Interesting. See, that would have been in the doc.
Would have. But yeah, so part 3 is coming up. What else you got in the works? Rudy?
Part 3 is gonna be for a while.
For a while. So will it be up before
Yeah.
the next?
Unlike
I
last
think you should
time-
make a documentary about the life of Joey Rodriguez, Part 1.
Jose Antonio.
A lot of
I don't
drinking,
know.
a
I don't
lot
know
of
if
smoking.
people.
It's gonna be 84 minutes.
A lot of
sleeping.
stuff's gonna be. A lot of stuff's gonna be blurred out.
blurred out. Sleep, Japanese wrestling, sleep,
Blurred, sleep,
sleep.
wake up. Japanese wrestling, blurred, sleep, repeat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Instagram.
What else do you have in the works? I know ACH documentary. That's still coming out.
Sometime I don't even know. We got to go do some recording on that too, though.
Recording more.
Hey, he can talk now.
Oh yeah, he has.
He
That's
might
right.
have a little more to
He
talk
has more
about.
stories
so,
that he has to tell. That's he
but
did.
we
say
still
that.
got to work all that out.
So ACH doc still.
We
in
got
progress.
plans for that.
Okay, there's new plans. For
There's
it.
new plans, so we got to figure all that out. Sabotage kind of took over a lot of stuff.
Is
But shit, part 2,
coming out?
episode 2,
Is there going to be more than that?
possibly as episode 3.
And then is there going to be more than that?
Hey, there might be more than that coming out in the works too.
So episodes 2 and 3 are in the works.
I say look for shit before you look for the ACH documentary.
Oh, well, that's good because people
But,
like
I mean,
that.
Like what did they say? It's like something meets Office Space, or
Yeah,
I don't know, that's what
remember
people are saying.
something. Wrestling meets Office Space.
yeah, pretty much. That's
Not
what I've heard.
Office Space.
Not
The Office.
Oh, The Office, whatever. If it was Office Space, God, I'd be like, I'm a genius. But yeah,
How did you do that?
I'll be like, oh my god.
But yeah, so Street Side Report. Is that part of your Street Side Report, or do you got anything else for us on your Street Side Report?
Not yet.
So that was it.
That was
For now.
That was just you asking me questions. I just come in, pick up a mic, and say Street Side Reporting.
Yo,
Yo.
that's all you always say.
There ain't,
Yo,
there ain't no paper towels in the restroom. The show ain't even started yet.
they're out.
They out.
A couple of shows we're going to coming up. Heavy Metal Wrestling. It's gonna be
Oh,
great.
I
to
can't
be back.
wait.
Yeah, I love
I
going.
missed last show. I'm mad at
Te-
myself.
Tell the fans why they should go to Heavy Metal Wrestling.
It's fun. Fun.
Great,
Fun.
Rudy.
It's fun.
Hey, why should they
Wrestling
go?
okay, or-
It's fun.
It's fun.
Never mind the wrestling. It's
Nah,
just fun.
It's just fun. You go watch wrestling.
It's like
yeah.
a party.
Yeah.
It's like half the people are there for the concert because it's a concert.
Yeah, it's like a little mini concert.
And it's a wrestling show.
Yeah.
All tied into one.
So you just go out there and the wrestlers have fun.
The fans have
the
fun.
fans have fun. The band's having fun. It's just you go out there.
And there's great wrestling on top of
Yeah.
that.
You watch great wrestling and
I'm
just
kind
be
of
happy.
disappointed I wasn't able to go to my first Texas indie show tonight.
Yeah, we were gonna go. It got canceled, unfortunately. So we get to do this podcast instead. Yay!
AAPW got canceled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was
Rudy
like,
was
what
so
show
lost
am I
right now.
talking- Well, that was canceled so long ago. I was like, did this just happen? Like,
No, it got canceled. This week. But yeah, so you'll have to wait a week. So your first show, if you come with us, will be Heavy Metal, and it'll be fun, as Rudy said.
fun.
So you'll have a lot of fun at Heavy Metal Wrestling. Delilah Doom's going to be there. Alley Cat, Thomas Shire, who's recently back from injury, Jordan Lennox, who you will see at Sabotage Wrestling, Terrell Tempo's there, Scotty Santiago, Cody Lane. It's going to be a good show. That's all you need to know. What is it? HeavyMetalWrestling.com to get your tickets. Takes place in San Antonio, Texas next Saturday. And the show starts earlier because next Saturday there's some boxing match going on or something.
Not even a boxing match. So. Anyway,
It's a what?
it's just
Exhibition match.
It's a
exhibition.
spectacle.
It's like the Hulk Hogan versus
Yeah, no,
Rocky or
it's
something.
Thunderless versus Rocky.
Thunderlips.
There you go.
That's what it is.
So
there's
there's some
Thunderlips doesn't talk as much shit as the other guy.
there's some other fight going on, so they're doing their show a little bit earlier. So if you happen to want to watch this so-called fight after on Saturday night, you can go.
And
to,
if you're saving your money and don't go to a wrestling show because you rather spend it on the pay-per-view for that, man, you's a
I was
damn
like-
fool.
you sound like B now.
Well,
You's a damn fool.
Yeah.
Which you can watch his show every Friday at 6 p.m. ish on our Facebook page. Another show we're going to, Inspire Pro Wrestling.
Yeah,
When is that?
That is September 3rd.
that's
On
gonna be a
Saturday?
good show.
It is a Sunday.
Sunday.
Sabotage runs on Sundays. A Hero Never Dies.
You
And
mean
they've
Inspire?
Yeah.
Huh?
Inspire. He said Sabotage runs on Sundays.
No, I said they always run on
Oh, I thought you
Sundays.
said Sabotage.
You've been hearing random stuff all night tonight.
I thought he said sabotage too.
See?
No,
There
now
you
y'all
go.
just-
You
now
got
this
You
it.
can
is
replay it back and see.
Ask-
Now this
ask
is a
Jason.
conspiracy. Jason's just gonna agree with y'all because he just wants to be against me. Inspire Pro, September 3rd. A Hero Never Dies. Joey Ryan is doing the first ever Open Dickplex Challenge. Are you gonna get in the ring? And
No,
no.
I am not getting. Oh, is Brian gonna be there?
I would imagine so.
Brian
It's
might get in
Sunday.
the
I
ring.
don't know. As long as I'm not starting my work yet, I should be there.
That's all right.
But
I do.
Potential-
I do want to go check out Inspire because
It's over
I want to
early.
look at all the talent, so that way we can figure out who to book in Sabotage.
See, sounds perfect.
Scouting.
Way to go.
Yeah, basically the next few months going to be doing a lot of scouting at these shows.
They'll be over by 10.
Book Joey Ryan.
I already know enough about Joey Ryan if I was going to book him or not. See him all the time.
Andy Dalton versus Gary J is the finals of the Lawless Darkness
It's a
tournament.
ladder match, ain't it?
Ladder match.
That's gonna be great.
It is going to be great.
'Cause they're
But-
both crazy.
And the winner gets to be immune from all rules at Inspire Pro for a year.
All rules?
All
All
rules.
rules.
No rules apply to them
do whatever the hell he
for a
wants.
year.
I mean, they can go get as many hot dogs as they want. And
They
don't
can
get
do
in
whatever.
Well, they don't have hot dogs there.
No, they don't have any food. They have snacks like chips, right?
Maybe.
Or candy.
They don't have no food.
No food.
It's at a yeah.
It's at a gym. It's at a gym. Like it's on a basketball court.
At a gym, and all they got is drinks.
They got plenty of alcohol or Cokes and Dr Pepper and whatever you want to drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they might got.
Is that pretty common at all the shows in Texas? Because I might have to move back.
Yeah,
Yeah, now to think about it.
yeah. All the shows.
Because I
Any
know
show.
the second Sabotage, I know you got some of those hot dogs. Huh?
No,
we
I
had
did
that.
it.
No, Rudy didn't.
The line was too long.
I
They
got
had
one.
intermission, and people had to go back
There
to
wasn't no
work.
regular
You
hot
could have
dogs
cut
either.
in line. We could have cut in line for you, and because you had
Those are
work to do.
Terrell's hot dogs. Those are world famous hot dogs.
I was working.
See, I told you. He said sabotage. See,
See, there
told
you
you
go.
he was gonna be, and he said they got like snacks, chips, candy, etc. So
Yeah, that's
No
Maybe
food.
maybe Hillface we could start a side business as far as like
Food?
selling food at the shows.
I don't know. I think we need a license or a
for that.
permit to do
Yeah,
that.
it
We
was
can
it
get
was
one.
talked about
We can get
before.
one.
But yeah, just expect snacks at a lot of shows.
Yep. And then your favorite tag team.
But at a San Antonio show afterwards, expect elote.
oh yeah, Eric's Tacos is the spot to go in San Antonio, and I know Jason can agree with us on this.
We need to get sponsored by them.
I know we do. Eric's
Say
Tacos.
that every show.
You go get elote. It's the best ever.
Eric's Tacos.
Eric's
Tell
Tacos.
Jose to work on that on Instagram. They have an Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Hillface food truck. That's what we need.
Jason wants Hillface.
Maybe we
food
can
truck.
partner with the Barbecue Revolution and be like half.
Have them sold everywhere.
Yeah,
There you go. We can talk to Blake and see if we
I'll
can
even
get that
drive
going.
the van for him. That's a truck.
Even better.
Your favorite tag team, the Heavy Hearts, are teaming up with Jay Sirius, a.k.a. JoJo Bravo, and they're taking on Davey Vega, Delilah Doom, and in all seriousness, your favorite wrestler of all time, Steve Reno, is on the other side of that match.
Well, I want to say my favorite of all time, but he in the conversation.
Independent.
Independent, yeah,
Okay.
in the conversation.
He's not your favorite.
Right now, yes, but all time.
Okay. I worded it poorly. Favorite current.
You worded it poorly the first time when you said favorite tag team Heavy Hearts.
Oh, yeah. I was being sarcastic.
You feel the tension in the room now?
And we also got Cody Lane versus Terrell Tempo, ACH versus Rex Andrews, Gino versus Kawahara. I'm not going to attempt the first name because I'll botch it like I did earlier. Vanessa Craven versus Kylie Ray, who you will see at Sabotage Wrestling. Jordan Lennox, who you will see at Sabotage Wrestling, taking on Ryan Davidson. So it's gonna be a good card. It's gonna be fun. Inspire's always good. We fell in love with them ever since the very first show we went to last August, so about a year ago. So
It's been great since.
yep,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Inspire, even all the way from Northern California. So
there you go. And then another show we should be, I don't know, it's not confirmed, but we should be going to Anarchy Championship Wrestling. They've got, it's hard to talk about their card because it's even when they like give out matches,
They don't.
You go to the show and it's just like the card is completely different from what was advertised. And I mean, it's wrestling, and this card subject to change. So
Or you'll be like, oh, look who's hanging out. And they're like, no, they're wrestling. Like, what?
yeah,
do they have a lot of cancellations or what's?
No, it's just a lot of extra matches.
no, everyone's who's advertised shows up. It's just they might not wrestle in the match that
They might
advertised for.
announce, say, 6 matches, but there's like 11.
There's usually more than 10 matches on their card.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that like some places don't actually announce the matches; they just announce who's going to be there, and then kind of show you who's wrestling when you get there.
You know who
I
was
kind of
the-
like that.
You know who was notorious for doing that? Pro Rev. They would just
yeah.
announce talent, and then it's just like you get there and so is wrestling so and so. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to do a preview podcast on stuff like that.
Pro Rev Pro.
Oh yeah.
No,
Carson.
but it's good for like fantasy kind of
Fantasy
thing.
booking.
You can be like, hey, if I had these talents, I would book this versus this.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, kind of make either way. It's still interesting.
How you would book it? Touchdown 49ers. Oh, anyways, this is not a football podcast.
Yeah,
but
they're losing 20-0.
not anymore.
Or
20-6.
Excuse me.
But yes, Jason says Eric's Tacos for the win. But yes, any other last words you'd like to add, Brian, before we wrap this podcast up?
Did you say Ryan?
Brian. See, oh my God.
That's Jason.
Yeah, that's Jason.
No, I just hope to, I'm glad to be back home. This is the first time I'm back home in over 20 years. This is probably actually the anniversary because I left in like August, right before school started in 1997. So it's pretty much a 20-year anniversary of being gone. And it's good to be back in Texas. Haven't seen much yet, but look forward to like checking out the independent scene here, helping out Hillface however I can. Maybe I could be like Rudy's little bitch and be the second cameraman.
Go plug this in.
Go charge us.
Go get me this card right now.
Yep, and then hopefully everyone comes out and supports Sabotage so we can make Sabotage a successful promotion here in Texas.
Yep, October 13th. She's on it.
Get your tickets.
Delilah Doom will be there. SabotageTexas.com to get your tickets. Plenty of other talent will be there. Leva Bates, Sammy Guevara,
Rudy.
Jordan Lennox. Rudy's going to be there. Jason's going to be there. Joey's going to be there. Thunder Rosa might be there. I don't know. She might be maybe she's the ninth entrant into